brow love today. The very first step is always to cleanse the area before we start. So today my client is very ultra sensitive. So I still will clean her off as if I were to be waxing, but today I will be tweezing only and trimming. So we will get started. First step is cleanse. Second step is prep, always. You always have to prep the skin. And the reason why is because we do not want the skin to lift. That will be very, very bad for the person's skin. It burns, it tingles, and if anyone is on Accutane or on Retin-A, you have to tweeze. My client here, she is just ultra sensitive to wax in general, so I will tweeze her today. And so I will always be starting off in the middle of the brow here. So let's get started. And then second, I always start on the right eye. So I'll tweeze the top of the right eye. And normally I would be waxing these areas on most of my clients. And I specialize in full eyebrows, so I will always leave the eyebrows as full as possible. I go along the natural arch and also with the bone structure to each client. So I'll clean up the ends here, and what I'll do on this right brow is I will map out the eyebrow to her natural arch. So I will draw on a shape, and then I will only wax or tweeze underneath what I draw on. I just put on enough color so that I can tell exactly where to tweeze or wax. So now we'll go ahead and do these areas. And she's actually in the process of growing out her eyebrow. So I want to make sure that I'm not getting too close to the arch. And I want to leave a lot in this area because she wants them to be more full up on top. I will do a slight trim today because that's what she prefers. And I will do the same exact thing to the opposite eyebrow. The reason eyebrows are so important, they shape your face, and even when you have no makeup on, it's great to have a beautiful brow because it can totally save you if you need to run out to the grocery store, or if you need to, go run out and get gas and you run into someone you know. It just makes your whole face look cleaner when your eyebrows are shaped properly, especially when they are fuller. It doesn't give you such a harsh look like if you were to have super thin eyebrows. So I'm just double checking that I've gotten all the hairs that need to be taken out. So that was our third step. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the scissors to the top of her brow, and like I said, I'm going to slightly trim. And you have to be very careful because a lot of people can tend to cut too short if they're doing it at home. And you don't want it to look too short because then obviously your eyebrows are going to be looking funny. And on Hispanics and Asians, their eyebrows tend to either grow straight forward or down. Like on myself, mine actually grow down, and same as this client. Hers are growing down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim those areas so that they match up to the rest of the brow. So what I'll do is I'll just very carefully get in and do a slight little trim. And then you can see there that it now matches up. Okay, so we're still growing her eyebrows out, so you can see here that we are missing just a couple little hairs right in this area and right in this area here. But that can be fixed temporarily by filling in the brow when we're all finished with the service. So now I'll just kind of fill in the bottom part of the brow for her, very slightly. She doesn't like a whole lot of color, so we'll just do it very lightly. And if you do have areas where you are missing hair, you definitely want to use some type of wax underneath the powder. I didn't do it here, but they do sell different brands. A cheaper brand that you can buy would be the brand NYX from Target or Walmart, and they actually sell a pencil that is just a wax pencil that you can apply before the powder. Also, Anastasia sells one that you can get at Sephora or Nordstrom stores. So I always tell my clients to use a very light hand when they fill in their eyebrows. Only because if you use a really heavy hand, your eyebrows tend to come out very harsh looking. So that's why I keep dipping the brush into the powder just to add the slightest amount of color. So I can still see that she needs a little bit more trimming. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Just to make sure that she does like the outcome, of course. And she has a little cowlick in her eyebrow. So I have to be very careful when I trim, and I have to trim very carefully. And slowly. Her eyebrow actually spirals, so. And of course, before we get started, I always talk to my client to make sure that we're on the same page. I ask if they were happy with their brows the last time they came in, and I always ask them to tell me what they want out of the service. So if they are trying to grow them out, we obviously speak about that beforehand. So I will leave the rest of her brow alone on this right eyebrow. She does want this a little thicker, so we are letting this stay as is, even though her eyebrow is a little spiraled out here. She wants to leave it this time. So the next time I'll do a little more trimming if she feels that is full enough for her, okay? So then we'll get started on the next eyebrow.